Hi guys, this is Sam Gourley here. I'm an occupational therapist. I'm the head of clinical services for Imagine Therapies. Thanks for tuning into this webinar tonight, where we will be introducing this new and innovative early intervention program that we've been working on. We're really excited to bring it to you guys. Hope that you enjoy the presentation and get a lot from it. Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that this is the second webinar that we've ever done for Imagine Therapies. The last one we did was last week. I'm hoping very much that we don't have any technical errors as we go through, so please bear with us if we do. The other thing I want to let you guys know, I'm just a tad sick. I've got a bit of a cough, so if you hear me go quiet for just a second, it may be because I'm coughing up a lung. And I apologise in advance for that, but I will be right back if that does happen. If you're tuning in on the Google Plus page, you'll see on the right-hand side, there's group chat. I'm just making sure that that's active. So if you are tuning in on Google Plus, please feel free to chat on there. You can ask me a question, or you can post things on there. I would really love to hear where everyone is tuning in from. So if you're tuning in from in the country, I'd really love to know what region. And if you're in the city, then feel free to let us know as well on the group chat. Those of you who are tuning in through YouTube, you won't have that functionality. If you check the email that you received when you registered, there should be a link for the Google Plus page if you do want to tune in that way. Otherwise, feel free to stay on YouTube, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. So, to start off with, I just want to share with you guys this quote. This is one that that I personally really like, and it kind of sums up how I feel about early intervention for children. This is by Dr. Stanley Greenspan. So for those of you who are familiar with Dr. Greenspan's work, he was a very, very influential figure in bringing the floor time approach to early intervention, a really fantastic relationship-based early intervention strategy. And this is a quote that he shared. He said, "All children have within them the potential to be great kids. It's our job to create a great world where this potential can flourish." And I really agree with that. I think that's certainly true. It's our duty to create a world where children of all abilities, no matter what things that they deal with or live with from day to day, it's our responsibility to create a world where they can flourish anyway. This is a photo of my two daughters, Olive and Hazel. They're wonderful kids. I try and show them off in every presentation I do. So there it is. Who are we? So Imagine Therapies, we're a private provider of allied health services to children in southeast Queensland. We have two clinics currently operating in southeast Queensland. So we've got one on the Sunshine Coast in Brightwater. We've also got another clinic in Strathpine, which is just north of Brisbane. And in March, we're very excited to be opening our third clinic in Highgate Hill, just on the south side of the Brisbane River. Very excited about that. We are allied health providers for children. So like I mentioned at the start, we have occupational therapists like me. We also have speech pathology services, psychology, and case coordinator services for children and their families. So particularly those three disciplines, OT, speech, and psych, we offer those at all three centres. And then case coordinator services, I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go into the presentation. We are early intervention provider panel members, so a lot of you guys out there would have children diagnosed with autism, and you'd be aware of the Helping Children with Autism funding. We are members of the early intervention provider panel, so that funding can be used through us. We offer clinic, school, and early learning centre-based therapy and consultation services to schools. If you'd like to know a bit more about our company and our background, feel free to check out that web address there, www.imaginetherapies.com.au. Lots of great information on there. There's a special section just for parents, so feel free to check that out. So the program we're introducing tonight, we're very excited about. It's the Imagine Therapies Early Intervention program. And what I'm going to be covering in this webinar is why were the need for the program, the importance of parental involvement in early intervention generally. We'll also talk about we'll also give a brief introduction to the program and how it is delivered, and then the advantages to parents and families and the benefit. In particular, I'll be sharing about the benefit to rural and remote areas. However, we'll also be talking about the benefits for families in urban areas too. And we'll also talk a little bit about at the end about how to find out more about the program or how to subscribe. So the need for the program. We've been working with parents of children with autism for a number of years, and over that time we've been able to come in contact with hundreds of different parents. And what we've started to find is that there's common challenges. There's certain things that all parents who go through this journey of obtaining a diagnosis of autism, and then the journey through early intervention, there's common challenges that seem to occur with just about everyone. And you guys probably will be able to relate to some of these things that I'm going to be talking about. There's an incredible impact on parents, and often parents aren't expecting, of course, to have a child with autism. And often there's a grieving process that tends to, go with the realization that your child has special challenges. And of course, everyone tends to come out on the other side of that, and we learn about the wonderful nature of our children despite their diagnosis. However, there's no denying that there is certain impacts that parents experience. So there's changes to a family's lifestyle. It tends to be a big deal when a child is diagnosed with autism. So some of the impacts on parents, some of the things that they need to do when there's a diagnosis, they've got meetings, they've got to meet with autism advisors, with pediatricians. They often will meet with lots of different allied health professionals. They might go on the internet and surf the net as much as they can, trying to find as much information about autism as they can, finding good stuff and not so good stuff. One of the biggest challenges that we've found is explaining the autism diagnosis to family members, and it's more so difficult to share with siblings, for example, which we'll talk a bit more about in a second. But it's often a difficult conversation for a parent to have when they're explaining the fact that their child has this diagnosis with different family members. Some of the other challenges are things like choosing an approach, so trying to figure out which approach to early intervention you feel best suits your child and also your values and things like that. There's things like home programs that you're given by different professionals. There's often a lot of coordination that needs to happen with the school, and you might have hoops to jump through in terms of verification with the school, which hopefully a school has talked to you a little bit about. You will have been given a letter stating your funding package, the Helping Children with Autism package. And one of the difficulties that parents often find is figuring out how to use that money properly and how to make the most of it while they have it before their child turns 7. And then there's really just the everyday, fitting in with normal activities of daily living and responsibilities associated with, all your children, not just your child with autism. So parents have a lot on their plate, and it's something that we've been able to see time and time again, and feedback that we get from parents is it is a very difficult time. It's a very difficult process. And of course, it's something that we hope to help parents with. There's also an impact, that we don't always acknowledge as much, but there's an impact on siblings. So often the siblings don't understand. They have to adjust to not receiving as much attention from their parents, as perhaps they would like to. Sometimes that can cause them to act up and and we start to see all kinds of behaviours coming from siblings. Often siblings feel a lack of connection with their brother or sister with ASD. And sometimes they can feel a bit hard done by, like they've had missed opportunities of their own, because of a different life or family circumstance. And of course, that's something that can't be helped. What we've found is that although, the parents and the families that we work with, they are so inspirational. They are really fantastic, motivated people. And in particular, the mothers. We really acknowledge the mothers and their efforts to support their children. However, what we've found is that parents really require a fundamental knowledge of evidence-based intervention for autism. And that's what seems to be lacking. So although parents have the best intentions, often they've developed incredible patience and they're doing their very best. But often what is lacking is that they don't have the fundamental knowledge of intervention for children with autism. And, how would you really? I mean, a lot of you guys out there maybe, have other professions, or even if you're a stay-at-home mum, there's no reason why parents would have, these skills for working with children with autism. And this is what they lack, and this is kind of the gap that we've found and that we hope to fill with this program. Parents really need the resources and the support and the knowledge readily available when they need them. And with all the changes that go on with children in their life, it's really important that support is readily available on demand. Another thing that we've learnt over time, and research has really backed this up as well, is the importance of parents being an active part of the early intervention process. So parental involvement is very, very important, and it's been linked to better outcomes and faster outcomes for children with autism. One of the reasons why is because parents can really ensure that consistency is maintained. Of course, when you bring them into a clinic, they might see a therapist, or you may be even having some home-based therapy. No matter what therapy approach you've decided to use, parental involvement is very, very important for ensuring consistency. And that's something that I can't understate. Home programs help. So often, in the past, parents have come to see me. I've tried to give them a very detailed home program, but often that's not quite enough. Parents are trying very hard, and they're most of the time, they're very diligent with their home program. However, more is needed, which is what we hope to provide in this program. So the Imagine Therapies Early Intervention program is launching in March this year, and it's going to be available nationally. The way the program is put together, it's an online training and support program for parents, carers, and siblings using the expertise of fully trained and certified occupational therapists, speech pathologists, and clinical psychologists. The goal of the program is to provide parents and siblings with all the fundamental knowledge required to be the greatest influence in helping their child reach their goals. So the point of the program is to train and empower and enable parents to be, the real driving force behind their children's progression. Basically, what we're hoping to do, essentially, we're upskilling parents to have the general skills of a transdisciplinary therapy assistant. So what I mean by that, a transdisciplinary therapy assistant is a allied health assistant who can work across different disciplines. So they might be able to work, with an OT and a speech therapist and a psychologist if it was needed. And so what we hope is to give parents the ability, give them the foundation skills and strategies to have a similar capacity to a transdisciplinary therapy assistant. The program uses web-based content delivery, and this is one of the things that we're really excited about. So we're hoping to we will be using the internet as a tool to deliver this training and this intervention program. We'll use a combination of live and recorded webinars, available both live and on demand, and also printable resource delivery. So we'll talk about that in a bit more in a second. Another part of the program is the case coordination. There's also group therapy and individual assessment options available in person or via Skype. We'll talk more about that in a second as well. So the web-based content, basically the way the program is put together is once you've subscribed to the program, there's varying levels of subscription, you'll be given a secure login for our website. So these couple of screenshots here, these are straight from our website, www.imaginetherapies.com.au. You'll be given a secure login for the website where you'll be able to access webinars every week of every month for a whole year. You'll be able to access content for the purpose of parent training, and we'll talk a bit more about that in just a second. You'll also find on there'll be forums to connect with other parents. So we can even, with your consent, connect you with other parents, parents of kids of a similar age or similar needs, or if you're coming from a rural or remote area, we try and connect you to another parent who is also from a rural area. So we've got forums as well where you can hop on and ask questions and receive an answer pretty much straight away from an allied health professional. You'll also be able to access past content on demand. And what we're really excited about is that you'll be able to watch presentations in your own time and at your own pace. So the delivery of content will be on a weekly and monthly basis, and I'll talk a bit more about that in the next few slides. But basically, from month to month, say you subscribe in March, when you get to April, all your content from March will still be available. So you'll be able to go back and go over different parts of the training to refresh and upskill, which is going to be really valuable for you guys. So like I mentioned, we're launching in March, and these are the themes of each month for the first year of the program. So you can see here, the basics. Basically everything fundamental that you really need to know is included within these months. So for example, first up, very simply, understanding autism. So understanding the basics of receiving a diagnosis of autism. As we go through, we'll be talking about sensory systems, communication, attachment, and then as you can see here on the slide, I won't read them all, but it really goes quite comprehensively through all of the different areas, which will give you the fundamental knowledge and skills, to help you be that transdisciplinary allied health assistant. Here's a little bit of a more detailed breakdown. So this is the webinar, I think, from October, and it's the theme of the month is motor skills. And the way the program's broken up is that each of the 4 weeks of that month, there will be different webinar presentations. So in week 1, how do motor skills develop? Infancy to 5 years of age. So there'll be a presentation which will cover how motor skills develop in the first 5 years. And there'll also be printable resources provided to you via your secure login. So there'll be a milestones checklist, 0 to 7 years, and a list of activity ideas to support development, just some general activities that are very helpful. Week 2, there's supporting gross motor development. So there'll be a webinar on that, or a recorded presentation. And then you'll also get a bunch of resources. So, a checklist for foundation gross motor skills, and then a sequential developmental guide to developing gross motor skills. So guides to help you take that online content that you've just heard and listened to and put it into action. So, really helping you figure out where your child's at with their gross motor development, and then giving you strategies to help them along with that skill. With week 3, you parents will be learning about supporting fine motor development. So, and once again, there's resources to help you understand where your child is at and what you can do to support fine motor development. And then week 4, we'll go into a little bit more depth with supporting children with coordination disorders. We do find that there are a lot of children with ASD who tend to have coordination problems, coordination disorders like developmental coordination disorder. And during that time, we'll also do a Q&A webinar. So parents will be able to ask questions live, and they'll be answered by an occupational therapist in real time. There'll also be, of course, the forum. If parents have questions at other times, they can ask questions there too. The resources that are made available, these are really high quality resources, guys. They're really fantastic. They're going to be made available via your secure login from week to week. You'll be able to download them. Once they're available, just like the webinars and presentations, they'll continue to be available to be accessed on demand there on the website. All of the best and the most effective resources compiled from around the internet will be included by accredited authors, particularly those that are evidence-based. And there'll also be some original intervention program design resources that have been designed by us. And we'll be basically, everything that we do, from the resources that are provided, the webinars, it draws on evidence-based approaches. So it's really top quality information. What I really think is going to be fantastic for parents is that they won't have to, go around the internet anymore trying to look for, resources or activity ideas. What we're basically doing is bringing all those together so that you've got access to them in one place, which is going to be, really valuable for you guys. We also, another component of the program will be that every child will be given an individual therapy plan created by our team of allied health professionals, and then that will be implemented by a case coordinator. So the case coordinator is assigned to each family, and it's a trained allied health assistant, and it's someone who also, in addition to being a trained allied health assistant, they have hands-on experience in delivering early intervention for children with autism. Really high quality allied health assistants who will be working under the direction of our allied health team. For children in areas close to an Imagine Therapies clinic, we'll be offering group sessions. So that can be facilitated by your family's case coordinator. And the option is of regular direct therapy by an allied health team. So that's if you live in close vicinity to a clinic, that can be done face-to-face. If not, if you're in a rural or remote area, there will be Skype and telehealth consultations available as well. So you don't have to miss out on that. Yes, and in that last point there, Skype or telehealth support consultations can be held with your case coordinator and with allied health professionals periodically for families who live in those rural and remote areas. So here are some of the advantages, guys, of this program. I guess the number one thing is parents learn hands-on practical skills that they can use every day to help their child achieve their therapy goals, and that's what we're most excited about is parents having the skills to be able to follow through with therapy at home to a really high quality, and we're really looking forward to boosting that progress of those kids. You guys will learn strategies that will enable you to do things that you could never do before. So things like, managing problem behaviors, so that you can go out into the community more often, or different things like that, which, it's really going to open up doors. If you've got the strategies and the skills to manage, some of the components of what we tend to see in children with autism, well, then you're going to be able to do things that you haven't been able to do before. This program is another way this program is really fantastic is that it can be used to complement your current early intervention approach, even if it's with another provider. So, for example, if you're doing home-based ABA therapy, then this certainly doesn't take anything away from that approach. If you're wanting to continue therapy and you've got your own allied health team who you're working with, then this complements that. It doesn't take away from any early intervention approach, which is currently being administered. All of the information presented is created and reviewed by allied health professionals regularly. And it's all based on the best available evidence, and we are constantly updating and making sure it is of the best quality. So you can be assured that the strategies and the skills that you're taught will be evidence-based, that they will be the best according to the best available evidence that is in the science, in the field right now. Another area that I really think is fantastic is, most early intervention approaches really focus on the child. However, this also focuses on the child, but mainly by using parents and supporting parents and siblings. And like I mentioned before, everything you need is compiled into one place, and you don't have to, scale the internet trying to find good, reliable information. Some other things. So what we often tend to find these days is fathers tend to miss out on the advice that's given from their child's therapy team. What's great about this program is that both parents will really have the opportunity to engage with the program. Being that the content is on demand, it's accessible outside of work hours. And so there's no more need for secondhand information. What I really think is fantastic is that parents can put the kids to bed one night and sit back and watch the presentation for an hour or so, and get some good skills. And they're doing that together. That's something that that both a mother and father can do, because it's outside of work hours. So, both parents are able to be involved. If both parents are working, well, you can fit this around your work schedule. Like I mentioned, it's accessible anytime, night and day, via your secure login on the website. You have the ability to connect with other families in similar situations. So this is particularly going to be great for our regional and remote families. Because they'll have the online forum where they can connect with other families who are in a similar situation. But we'll also be offering regular networking events happening in regional areas. So I will be trying to, as much as possible, bring everyone together so that you can meet other parents face to face. Parents are really going to have the advantage of tapping into a network of expertise to assist your child, especially at those critical times. So, for example, when your child's about to start school, that can be a very stressful time for parents of children with ASD. And the opportunity to tap into a network of expertise through the forum, through the online content, through talking with your case coordinator, or talking with the allied health professional, you can really get some good, solid strategies to use to make those big events, more manageable. We really love that rural and remote families can take advantage of this, and we've designed the program very much with them in mind. So regardless of distance, all you need is an internet connection and a computer to be able to access the online content. Obviously, rural and remote areas will have less options in terms of things like group therapy sessions. However, with the differing levels of subscription, those families will still be able to engage with the program and have wonderful results, even though they're in a rural or remote area. So if you'd like to know more about the program, I would love to meet with you face to face. So all you have to do, if you're interested in finding out more about it, or perhaps even subscribing, all you have to do is email your contact details, including your geographical region, to iteip@imaginetherapies.com.au. That's Imagine Therapies Early Intervention Program at imaginetherapies.com.au. So if you haven't done that already when you registered for this webinar, just shoot through your email details, and a representative will be in touch to discuss your subscription options, if you've got any other questions about the program, and how you can use your funding to access the program. It would be a really good idea for you guys to keep an eye out on our website, and if you log onto our website, you can join our mailing list, and you'll get all of the new information that comes about the program as it happens. You can also like our Facebook page or follow us on Instagram, where you'll be able to get important updates too. But number one, if you'd like to know more about it, make sure you contact us. Send us through your details, and even if you're in a rural or remote area, we can set up a Skype meeting so that we can discuss the opportunity for you. Thanks for watching, guys. There's our contact details on the left there, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thanks very much.